12th of December, 1983. So the essence of this Murli is concentration, focused effort. So it starts off by Baba talking about the celebration of the meeting between us and Baba. So he says, today all have one pure thought, and that is to celebrate a meeting, is it not? To be just in one thought at one time, this power of concentration is the highest. To be just in one thought and one time, this power of concentration is the highest. So we have to work our way up, if you will. We have to try our level best with effort that we can have at one time, one moment, just one thought. Many times our minds are all over the place, and they use the word in the word scatterbrain. So we, instead of being scatterbrains where all the energy gets dissipated, we should try our level best to focus on one thought at one time. With this one thought of concentration, the whole group together can do whatever it likes. Wherever there is the power of concentration, all other powers accompany it. Whenever or wherever there is the power of concentration, all other powers accompany it. And this is why the power of concentration of even one elevated soul can do wonders. Yeah, many times we think, what can one person do? I am the only one who is trying. I'm surrounded by so much of negativity. I can do nothing really. But actually, no. Baba is telling us that with the power of concentration of even one elevated soul, wonders can happen. So when there is the concentration of many elevated souls in a group, what can it not do? Concentration power will automatically lead to clarity of mind and an elevated stage. Concentration power will automatically lead to clarity of mind and an elevated stage. For any new invention, concentration power is necessary. Whether it is an invention of this lokic world or whether it may be a spiritual invention. I say these scientists, they go into solitude. They lock themselves up in their laboratories. They work alone for hours and hours, days and days, sometimes for years. And that's how new inventions, new discoveries happen. So for us to be able to discover our inner world, discover the power of God, discover many other beautiful things, that Baba is telling us, and also to be able to invent new methods for service, we have to have the ability to concentrate. We have to develop this power of concentration. So concentration means to be focusing the self on just one thought, or to absorb the self in just one deep thought. Concentration easily relieves one from wandering to different paths. For as long as one is fixed in this stage of concentration, for that much time he has forgotten the body and the physical world. For as long as one is fixed in this stage of concentration, one thought, that is, absorbed in the self, one deep thought, then this body and the physical world can be easily forgotten. Why? Because for that period of time, that very thought or whatever he's absorbed in is his world. So, are you experienced in such a stage of power of concentration? With the power of concentration, you can convey to the soul any message you want to convey. So with the power of concentration, what else can we do? We can convey to the soul any message we want to convey. You can invoke any soul with its help. With the power of concentration, we can invoke any soul. And you can also receive the voice of any soul. Even from a distance, you can help any soul. Babdada hopes that you know such a type of concentration power. Babdada hopes that you know such a type of concentration power. Do you? There must be no one except the Father in the thoughts. In one Father alone, there should be the experience of all achievements of the world. There should be just one and only one. In the world, they talk about distant viewing. Have you heard that word? They talk about clairvoyance and the ability to be able to see far away things, things that are not visible to the naked eye. They use it in defense as well, in military. So what they do is there are certain people who are trained, who have trained themselves actually. And what they do is, they would be told, hey, can you see where a particular country has hidden its nuclear bombs? So they will go into a deep, deep meditation state. They will be totally in solitude, and with the power of concentration, they're able to pinpoint exactly where that thing is. And this is also used in many of these forensic cases where, say, somebody has murdered someone and we don't know where the body is. Then those distant viewers can somehow figure out, they can see, oh, the body has been thrown in the lake, or it has been thrown in the jungle at this point. So they're able to tell all that. So now that is the people of the world, they have that kind of power. But we Baba's children don't have to use it for that. We Baba's children, because we have Baba with us, we can use it for the service of mankind in a much bigger way. So how? Baba is saying, even from a distance, you can help any soul. So let's say somebody in India is suffering, or somebody in Thailand is suffering. So we can connect to Baba and connect to that soul and allow Baba's energy to flow from Baba through us to that soul. Yes, so interesting and amazing things we can do with this power of concentration. So, Baba, the hopes that you know such a type of concentration power, do you? There must be no one except the Father in the thoughts. In one Father alone, there should be the experience of all achievements of the world. There should be just one and only one. To attain the stage of concentration through efforts is one thing. To attain the stage of concentration through efforts is one thing, but to become the embodiment of concentration is the powerful stage which will give the results just mentioned. If we become the embodiments of concentration, let's see what will happen. If that elevated stage is achieved, even for a second, it makes one experience being like the Father, that is Bap Saman. So even for a second, if we can have just one thought, one Baba, and nothing else, no one else, then we can feel as if we have, become like the Father. We have become Bap Saman. So now make an experiment of such spiritual power. For this, a place of solitude is needed. With the help of practice at the end, when there will be disturbance and commotion all around you, you will go into the depth of one and experience solitude. But such a practice is needed for a very long time. Only then will you be able to experience yourselves in a place of solitude. You see, if we start practicing when the world goes into chaos, then it won't work at that time. We have to start practicing now when things are all right, you see. And then we have to practice consistently for a long period of time for that habit to solidify in us, so that when the real commotion happens, real disturbance happens, then we are able to experience that power of concentration. Yeah, so even when there is commotion, Baba is saying only then will you be able to experience yourselves in a place of solitude, even when there is commotion of all types all around you. At the present time, it is very essential that one becomes an embodiment of the experience. At the present time, it is very essential that one becomes an embodiment of the experience through such incognito powers. Now you consider yourselves to be very busy, but still you're very free even now. In future, you'll become more and more busy. Right now, we are relatively free. Later on, we'll become extremely busy. So, we can't leave this practice for later on. That's what Baba is emphasizing again and again. This is why now is the time for different forms of practice and effort for the self. Therefore, in every action, use as much time as you get for the upliftment of the self. Therefore, in every action, use as much time as you get for the upliftment of the self. Day by day, according to the situation, you'll get many emergency cases to handle. At present, you're giving away medicine casually, but very soon you'll have to give more and more time and energy to emergency cases. You'll have to handle more cases in a short time. As it is, you challenge, do you not, that this is the world hospital where one can become eternally healthy. So, where else can the diseased ones go? So, there'll be people coming who are, not well physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. There'll be many types of problems that people will come to us with, and we'll have to help them out, all of them. So there will be a line of emergency cases in front of you. At that time, what will you do? Won't you give them the blessing to be immortal? With the help of the oxygen of the practice you have done for the self, you will have to give them the breath of courage. What is Baba saying? With the help of the oxygen of the practice you have done for the self, you will have to give them the breath of courage. There'll be more hopeless cases coming in front of you in the form of depressed or disheartened souls from everywhere. To give courage to the hopeless souls is like filling breath in them. For that, you will have to give oxygen instantly, won't you? And at that time, it's not going to be okay if we are slow, if we are tardy. When people need oxygen, they need it instantly. Many times in the hospital, we have to work very fast to provide oxygen to the patient who is having, respiratory distress, respiratory failure. When they can't take breaths on their own, their oxygen level is going down. So here too, when people come to us in an extremely depressed or disheartened state, we can't linger on, and be tardy at that time. We'll have to react, respond right away. So therefore, on the basis of practice for the self, you'll be able to make such souls powerful also. This is why don't say that you have no time, because it's only now that you really have some free time. Later on, you'll not even have this much. You tell the people not to wait for free time because they will never get it, but instead they will have to spare some time. This is what you say, don't you? In the same way, for practice for the self, it is not that if you get time, you will do it, but you will have to take out time for it. See, we can't keep saying that we don't have time, we don't have time. Yes, what do we have to say? Yes, I can take out time. Baba doesn't want to listen to excuses. Why? It's not that Baba doesn't like excuses for himself. He doesn't want us to make excuses because we are the ones who are going to benefit when we don't make excuses, and we are going to be the ones who are going to have a loss when we continue to make excuses. So Baba is concerned about our loss and our gain. So right from the beginning of this task of establishment, a special process has been used. What is Baba saying? Right from the beginning of this task of establishment, a special process has been used. Which was that? Which special process has been used? The practice of drops making the ocean. Yeah, in Parenthesis, it is written, millionaires did not contribute here, but the poor did. Yeah, so one drop of the poor is more valuable for Baba than a lot of money given by the rich, the millionaires. So this is the process, isn't it? In the same way, where time is concerned, this is the process. Whatever time you get, practice, and you will become the ocean. That is the embodiment of the complete practice. Yeah, many of you remember we had talked about the Sorites principle. Sorites is a heap of sand, right? If you remember, uh, one tiny grain, you take one tiny grain, that's not a heap, right? You keep on adding one more grain of the sand, and eventually one day it turns into a heap. It's so difficult to actually say when did a non-heap transition into a heap. Maybe 1,000 grains of sand, you may not call it a heap. And then maybe 2,000, even then you may not call it a heap. But then at some point you start calling it a heap. And similarly, when you are reducing one by one the grains from the heap of sand, then when do you call that heap as not a heap or non-heap, right? Then the same principle goes behind this, what we talk in India, that boon boon se ghada barta hai, boon boon se ocean banta hai. And that's what Baba is saying. The whole ocean gets created by one tiny drop, many one tiny drops. So I know to say that these droplets will become an ocean, sometimes it's difficult to imagine that, but at least we can imagine very clearly, because we've all seen it, that one drop, one at a time, second, third, fourth, fifth drop of water, and very soon the bucket gets full. Yeah, and so here too, if we make tiny bit of efforts, little efforts every day, then one day the bucket inside us will also be full. It's tiny efforts is what Baba wants from us. Nothing big. Baba doesn't want us to go and climb mountains or jump into the ocean, and or what is that trench, the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean, Marinara, what is it called as that trench? Baba doesn't want us to go there and try to search for diamonds and pearls in that trench. Baba just wants us to sit where we are sitting, do what we are doing, but take out some time every now and then to try to practice this power of concentration. So we can't say we don't even have those few seconds, few minutes here and there. So if you get even 1 second free time, see what is Baba saying? How sweet Baba is, how considerate he is, how merciful he is, how kind he is. Says if you get even 1 second free time, accumulate that in the task of practice. By accumulating all such seconds too, it will become so vast, won't it? You cannot spare even 5 minutes otherwise. But if you gather the seconds from here and there, it will amount to a half an hour. You can practice it also whilst performing actions. Yeah, let's say you're going somewhere, you're waiting for the elevator, a perfect time for you to remember Baba. Or when you're taking the steps. In fact, I think it's even better to take the steps. And in that way, you get your steps in, your exercise, and also there's exercise. But usually, when you try to get onto the elevators, and there are many people in the elevator, and when you see others, then somewhere or the other, your mind goes towards what they're wearing, what they're doing, how they look, and so on and so forth. But when you're taking the stairs, then what happens? You usually don't uh, go in a group. You're usually alone. Very few people take the stairs. So at least you'll be alone for those 2, 3 minutes that you take, the stairs for 1 or 2 floors. I know many floors may be difficult, for many people who have bad knees and all that. But at least every now and then we can try to, search for moments of solitude where we can practice this power of concentration. Let's say you're going to drink water. Let's say you're going to the bathroom. Let's say, you're going to sleep. Those 5-10 minutes that you have before you actually doze off, you can use that as well. So by saying, for example, just as a chatrak bird gathers drops of dew, the seconds from here and there will turn into an hour. So just one or two drops for the chatrak bird is so enough, right? But then it is able to quench its thirst over maybe an hour or so, gathering one or two drops here and there. Yeah, so by the end of the hour, maybe it'll get 15 drops, 20 drops, 30 drops, and that will be enough for that bird. So did you hear Baba saying, gather each second for that practice, and ultimately you will become an embodiment of that practice. Do not be careless in practice for the self, because at the end, the powers in particular will be very essential. You will get marks on the basis of those practical tests. This is why, if you want to get a first division, increase the practice for the self. The power of concentration is needed for that as well. Therefore, practice it. Let there be commotion all around you, and you will remain in the stage of concentration. See, eventually, all around us, there'll be commotion of different types, and yet we will be able to remain in the stage of concentration. Think about it, how wonderful it will feel at that time when everything is falling apart. You know? At that time, you are in the state of bliss, unaffected, unshakable, immovable. So, to be able to concentrate in a place of silence or when there is an atmosphere of ease is very easy. But you must go into the depth of one, even in the midst of tension all around you. I shared that example many, many years back. I'd gone to Madhuban and I was staying at Shantivan for I think one night or 2 nights, I can't remember, and then was going to go up to Gyan Sarovar to stay for the rest of the trip. And so in the morning, I went to the Amrit Vela in Diamond Hall, and it was very chaotic at that time. There were so many people who had come from Bharat. Many of these Matajis don't know how to use cell phones. And so what would happen is throughout those 45 minutes, 1 hour, so many alarm clocks were going off in people's cell phones, even cell phones were ringing, and there was incessant coughing because it was cold at that time. I think it was December month. So there was like non-stop coughing. And there were probably at least 10 to 12,000 people in that hall, big gathering. And I just couldn't have a good experience at all. And so after the Amrit Vela, as I was leaving, there was this very senior brother from Madhuban. We were very close to him. And he asked me, so how was your experience? And he was so happy. He said, I had a fantastic experience and connecting to Baba. And I said, well, Bhai Sahib, to be honest, I really couldn't have a good experience. There was so much of coughing, so much of distraction. And he said, how can you allow that to bother you? If you allow these to bother you, what will you do at the end? You can use these as music to your ears. So after that, I realized deeply that, see, he said it, a little strongly, and I'm glad he said that. If he had said it in a sweet, sweet way, maybe it wouldn't have gone deep inside. And from that day, I resolved that no matter what, how much ever is the chaos around me, I have to learn this art of remaining focused and having a great time in meditation. Brother Charlie or Brother Anthony, who I can't remember who was saying, or maybe it could be Brother Ken, that I think it was Brother Charlie. He was saying that long back, I think in Australia, they had taken a big space, not too big a space, a little big space for a program. And as they started meditating, and so, he said, all right, everybody sit comfortably. And what was happening is that just on the other side of the wall, in the next room, there was karate classes happening. So every second there's this noise of those tiles being broken and all those noises that people do when they practice karate and other martial arts. So everyone had a little bit of challenge in meditating, but that's when you have to learn to meditate, right? And so slowly we have to practice again, like keeping our eyes open and keeping our eyes closed. So many times we think that, oh, things are moving around, in front of us, and things are not stable, maybe people are walking in, walking out, and so I need to keep my eyes closed. But then see, if just people walking in and walking out, entering the room, and doors are opening every now and then, if these small things bother us and don't allow us to have a good meditation experience, then think of it at the end, what will happen when the entire earth is shaking with big earthquake on magnitude of what, 7 or 8 on the Richter scale. Okay, then what will we do? Or if the volcano erupts right next to us, what will we do at that time? So we'll have to maintain our stability even in the worst, most chaotic situations. So we have to start that practice now. Yeah. Acha. So what is Baba saying? Do not be careless in the practice for the self. Why? Because at the end, the powers in particular will be essential. You will get marks on the basis of these practical tests. This is why, if you want to get a first division, increase the practice for the self. The power of concentration is needed for that as well. Therefore, practice it. Let there be commotion all around you, and you will remain in the stage of concentration. To be able to concentrate in a place of silence or when there is an atmosphere of ease is very easy, but you must go into the depth of one, even in the midst of tension all around you. This is the great effort to be made by the Maharathis. So, what Baba wants from the Maharathis? That to be able to concentrate, even in the midst of chaos, midst of tension, that we can go into the depths of one Baba. Yes. So everyone here wants to become a Maharathi, right? Maharathi means the brave ones. So for the new children, there is a very easy method. If you remember just one thing, because many times the new souls, the new children say, it's so difficult for us. Even the elders, even the more senior ones find it difficult. Then how are we expected to have that kind of stage? So Baba is helping them out by saying, if you remember just one thing and tell only that to all, then it is not at all difficult to remember that one thing and to tell others, is it? Many things will be forgotten, but just one thing will not. Will it? Be in the remembrance of one. Just be in the remembrance of one. Keep on praising one. Keep on singing the songs of only one. And keep giving the introduction of only one. This is easy, isn't it? Or is it difficult? Easy, isn't it? Acha. Wherever there is just one to remember, then automatically the stage becomes stable, doesn't it? This is what you want, isn't it? Therefore, just remember the one word, that is one. Sing praise of one, remember one. So it is just one word to remember, isn't it? One Baba. So it is easy. For the new children, Baba is giving an easy shortcut path. So you will reach quickly, won't you? This is what you all want. You have come late, but you want to be first. Yeah, the newcomers want to be first, right? In this group too. So therefore, this is the shortcut path. So you'll reach quickly, won't you? This is what you all want. You have come late, but you want to be first. Therefore, this is the shortcut path. Move forward on it, and you will be ahead of others. Now, then Baba is talking to the Gujarati mothers. What did the Gujarat mothers hear? Gujarat have come, haven't they? The mothers want everything easy, don't they? They're very tired because of laboring hard in past births. They have wandered so much. Do you know how much you have wandered? Therefore, the wandering souls want an easy path. This is why, accepting an easy path, you will reach your destination. Yeah, sometimes if the path is too difficult, then it is possible that one may get tired, or if it is too complicated, too convoluted, then one can even get lost and never reach the destination. So here Baba is showing us an easy path. He doesn't like us to labor anymore because we have labored enough, saying just take this easy path and quickly reach the destination. Did Gujarat souls understand? Acha. The new ones as well as the Marathis are sitting here. Both are in front. Gujarat is the nearest amongst all, isn't it? Along with that being near, it is cooperative as well. In cooperation, Gujarat is ahead of Rajasthan. Nearby said Abu is in Rajasthan, therefore Gujarat is helping Rajasthan. Does Abu belong to Rajasthan only? No. Abu belongs to the whole world. One day the kings of Rajasthan will be awakened and they will do wonders. Now they are still hidden, but they will come into the open. Yes, Baba is appreciating the souls of Gujarat. So yes, Baba is always appreciating everyone. And but in a way, we have always seen that Gujarat is very helpful whenever Mount Abu would need something, Baba's Yagya would need something, then Gujarat would be the first to provide. And even now, many of us who come or go there from Madhuban, from the west, outside India, they land in Gujarat, or even if they land in Bombay or Delhi, then they go via Ahmedabad to Abu. And so Abu gets a lot of help from Gujarat in this regard and many other regards, actually. So Baba is saying that Abu belongs to everyone and Gujarat is sitting in front. So Baba is praising Gujarat, but in a way, Baba always praises everyone. So now what is Baba saying here? But do you know how Gujarat was born? Gujarat was given help. The seed has been watered with the help of cooperation. It was watered by the direct help of Bap Dada's thoughts. So Bap Dada had a thought to start service in Ahmedabad and sent Janki Dadi and Saralaben directly. Do you know how lucky Gujarat is? It was Bap Dada's inspiration that led to the opening of a center. So the founder is here, that is Saralaben. It was not opened by a Gujarat resident. This is why Gujarat will always achieve the fruit. Why? Because Baba sent Sallaben and Dadi Janki. So this is why Gujarat will always achieve the fruit because the seed has been sown directly by Babdada himself. Therefore, no effort is necessary. You can go ahead with an open heart. The land is very, very fertile. It will give maximum fruit. Yeah, acha. Yeah, we have always known that in Gujarat the soil is black. It's very fertile. A lot of fruits and especially cotton is grown there in Gujarat. All right, so it's from the point of view of the physical land and its fertility, but also from the point of view of spirituality. And Gujarat has done a lot of service. There are so many centers in Gujarat, so many retreat centers in Gujarat. In fact, there's another retreat center that has been opened between Ahmedabad and Abu in the city called as Gandhinagar. So in Gandhinagar, they have opened one big one and many other places actually. So now salutations to all the aspirants who are practicing upliftment of the self, to all the aspirants who are practicing upliftment of the self. See, each one of you want to uplift yourself, right? Who doesn't? You're all aspirants for that. To those who are always in a place of solitude, who, with the help of the power of concentration, as well as the powers achieved through the practice of efforts for the self, are changing the depressed souls and making them happy go lucky. Only through the power of concentration we can work on ourselves. And only when we work on ourselves can we help others. And helping those who are depressed, those who are disheartened, and making them happy is a great service. But what do we need to do for all of this? We have to have solitude. So, again, solitude will help us have the power of concentration. And through the power of concentration, we'll be able to work on ourselves. And through that working on ourselves, we'll be empowered enough to be able to serve those who are unhappy, who are depressed, who are distressed. Yes, so Baba is saying to those who use their powers towards all in a practical way, to such souls who are practicing for self upliftment, to such souls who are practicing for self upliftment, to the Mahavirs, that is, brave ones, as well as the new children. So Baba doesn't, ignore anyone. Baba, on one hand, is praising the Mahavirs, the brave ones. Baba has a lot of expectations from them, but also he is hoping that the new children can rise up to the occasion as well. So, as well as the new children, to all Babdada's remembrance, Yad, Pyar, and Namaste.